Hey, my friends, it's Alicia String here, always empowering success dreams on the Millionaire Mindset Hangout. If you can hear me, can you top in the comments anything on YouTube, anything on the Hangout page, millionairemindsethangout.com? Just share with me in the comments if you can hear me so I can make sure my microphone is working and everything's live because I'm by myself today. I think Valerie might join me, but the other ones maybe had some family issues that they're working out and will join us another time. So today we're going over the book, Crush It. Are you ready to crush it? I'd love to see your comments in below as well on what you are ready to crush. Now I'm out here in Houston today, a different location. So hopefully you can see me because it is a pretty bright blue cloud, beautiful day. And it's been an amazing ride here in Houston. I've been just exploring all different types of food. I didn't realize how many different types of food. Last night we went to this Fat Boy, I don't know, it's called BOA, and it was really interesting food. It was kind of like a mix of, they call it like fusion food and Italian, and not Italian, but well, maybe Italian, I don't know, a mix of Indian and Japanese, and I got this chicken because I thought it might be safe. It was pretty good, and all sorts of stuff, and it looks like egg whites or something, like a little tiny sandwich. And so it was pretty neat. Anyways, that's my food adventure if you guys like food. All right. So on to the book, Crush It. I want to give you some kind of some outline insights and some things that maybe has happened to me, excuse me, in my experiences in reading through the book, as well as some tips on what has changed maybe since the book was released. I know he kind of wanted it evergreen, but he gave some social media tips, and this one was published 2009. So some of the social media has definitely changed since he published this book. New social media platforms have came out, so we can discuss those of what has changed since this book has came out as well, because it does have some evergreen concepts in it on how you crush it with your passion and things like that, but it's also, it has some relevant strategies and tips that it shared on leveraging the social media platforms. So if you guys want to know some technical tips and tricks that I've experienced as well, and relating to the book, definitely stick around to some of those things in the end, because he talks about that, some of your next steps and stuff getting started in there. So I have put together, some notes, hoping my other team members here would come on. Hey, there is Valerie. Woohoo! All right, Valerie, introduce yourself and why you're here.
Hi, yeah, Valerie Jampolsky here. I'm a mom freepreneur from Abundance Now, and here in Los Angeles, I'm a single mom with twin 5-year-old boys, and yeah, I'm here. I feel so grateful, so thankful that I can be here, so I can actually be home with my kids. Used to be an attorney, entertainment attorney, and I just decided, no, I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to be able to do this and make a difference and talk about things that really feed my soul, like incredible books like we're talking about today. So yeah, that's me. Whoop, quickly, briefly, in a nutshell. Yes.
Thank you, Valerie, for joining us. I hope you got some of the notes, because I'll try to ask some questions, but I'm personally probably going to relate to Crush It and Gary Vaynerchuk. I'll tell a little bit about him and my experience and learning about him through this book and my perception through him. He is a very strong worded person, and he just tells it as it is. He's very real and has a strong personality. So I would say his personality is more of the red factor. What would you say, Valerie?
Yeah, he's very much red.
Yeah. So, and my personality is like very yellow and a little bit blue. So I'm having a hard time understanding, maybe the way he comes at certain things. So, no, my perception will probably be different than yours, right, Valerie?
Oh yeah, I love him. I get a kick out of it. Well, he's also very much blue. I think blue in a lot of ways can be very like, speak life into people, that kind of thing too. So, which he does do.
Yes. So he has a background of being in the family. His family was in a local retail wine business, and he became a national industry leader. And that's truly what we kind of discuss in, the different people that we interview. And really our purpose here in the Millionaire Mindset Hangout is what really takes them up to the next level in being a millionaire mindset, being on the top of your industry. And he's definitely one to study through this book to understand that. And maybe we should invite him out sometime to get some different insights. That would be really neat to kind of update, because I did notice that the book was finished maybe 2009 or so back there. So he started back right when the internet was kind of launching and getting started with his wine business at home, library TV at home. So he launched his blog officially in 1997 and his TV show, Wine Library TV, back in February 2006. So you can see the difference of almost 10 years just then the blogging, getting online, going through the social media platforms on how they're starting to launch and really getting out there in a bigger way, because now the word of mouth travels a lot faster today.
Yeah.
So there is many actions that you just can't miss in taking when you read this book. So we'll discuss some of the actions that you can take, because number one, the book is titled Passion is Everything, to cash in on your passion. And I love that because that's kind of our theme when we're using the blogging platform we recommend. And it's definitely a way to share what you love. And we love how he really dives into how your blog is everything in your business. So when you dive into your passion, he shared 3 different things of, kind of the priorities in his life that was really in his passion. He's had 3 rules: love your family, work super hard, and live your passion.
Yep.
So one of them was not there. It doesn't seem like you're yourself. You have to have your priorities and stuff in order. And I know a lot of people agree with that. That's why I think a lot of the principles are really core in how people view this book, because you know where your heart is. And I think that really shows in how he presented himself in this. Any other insights? I think I shared that, he wanted something bad enough. He knew that the money was there, success is there, and he just wanted to keep it simple. You just got to do what makes yourself happy, and you're going to do what it takes to keep it simple, to do the research, to work hard, look ahead, and all his little simple advice he gives us just kind of brings it to core. So I love how he talks about the passion and how he keeps that in his core, keep that in the basis of his book. Because I feel like if you don't have that stability, everything else crumbles. You're lost your passion. You're you don't know where it is. So I think he understands our passion is kind of our family. We've kind of stabled ourselves around that, and knowing if our goal and stuff doesn't align with our family being there, then we're really not going to take efforts in moving forward. How do you feel about that, Valerie?
Oh yeah, I mean the whole reason that I got involved in doing the business that we do is because I wanted to be home with my kids. I mean, I'm sitting there, I used to be an entertainment attorney, and I was sitting in my office, while I was pregnant with the twins, surrounded, pregnant to the gills, very pregnant with twins, surrounded by all these papers and books and everything, and I had this massive, epiphany that I just had to be home with my kids. I did not want to be having them raised by nannies. I didn't want to be spending my life surrounded by papers and then having my kids be raised by other people. I wanted to be with them, but I also knew that there was something. I just felt like there was so much more to me, so much more to what was possible. I mean, and it was that passion. Ultimately, you just set an intention and things happen, and the studio goes bankrupt and lays everybody off, and I'm there living, placed in the position of doing what I wanted to do. And it's kind of funny how the universe works that way. But it's it's really, for me, what drives me. It's the same thing, is that passion of 2 things: wanting to be there with my little ones, be there for all that stuff. Yesterday we just said, I'm going to go swimming. It's a Monday afternoon. We go swimming, right? Because I can. and then just really being able to talk about the things that matter to me. things like what we do in this Hangout, helping people to believe in themselves and to see what's possible and to live, live in a better way by really tapping into the power of who they really are and what's possible. So that passion is what drives me, and it's what drives all of our guests that we've had out here, all of our $1 million guests, all of them, the same thing. They all have a passion that drives them, because without it, like before when I had my job, I was sick all the time because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. I didn't wake up in the morning and really be excited about what I was about to do. I wasn't excited about driving my car to the office. I wasn't excited about doing what I was going to be doing, and about really, everything that I do, and get that kind of thrill of every time not just for me and my finances, but when I help someone else, what happens for them. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how he goes into the next one. You got to be excited about it, and then in order to have success, he calls it like in his DNA. And at first, I didn't really understand it, because you're coming from, everybody comes from somewhere, and you have to be yourself and tell your story. So he experiences things, from the family he was in, and shares, how he became an entrepreneur. And it was funny to learn how his entrepreneur journey kind of started from his passion with baseball cards, and how he was able to kind of be on the top of selling his baseball cards, and his journey with that, and then what his parents did with how they were in the industry and moved in different places and there. So definitely a good read to learn, what happened to his parents and how they came to America, and how his parents was a really good influence on how he was be able to become an entrepreneur, because it's like what you experience, how you look at things from, seeing things around you and in your environment. So he was little and started lemonade stands, the baseball card industry, and it's really neat to how he, got stuck in the trade and learning that. A quote that he shared in here that I really liked was, storytelling is by far the most underrated skill in business, because that's where he really realized how he can change the world, and sharing a story like that can impact different people in different ways. A lot of industry leaders, I think, realize that, and how you can tap into a different type of niche or person just because you shared a certain part of that story that related to a different type of person that you might not experience. So that's why I like to get those red personality stories that share different parts that I am not, that someone else can relate to inside of how they experience their DNA and experience their story. I know you agree with this too, Valerie, on, having the story of being able to tap into other people's experiences and being able to change your DNA just by experiencing, someone else's story and within yours. And that can become so powerful in how you you share your brand out there, which is going to the next book chapter. You have any insights, Valerie? I know you're back there. Maybe you got some kids right on top of you. Let me know when you're able to come out. She's got to get something for her kids. So chapter 3, there are 12 chapters in here, builds on the personal brand. And I think this really builds out on the story inside of here. Hey, Nadia, thanks for coming to the page and telling me you're ready to crush it. I want to hear more of your story. I know there's so many ways that when you're sharing who you are, it's kind of good to share maybe a little bit of the people close to you, around you. And I know I personally don't do that enough. And I always think, maybe they won't want to share, want me to share a little bit about them. But I think being the people close to you impacts you on, you know, how you perceive your story and how you're experiencing different things and things around you. No matter if it's positive or negative, because I know I've had different things happen to me and how you react to that and everything. So as you're building your personal brand, he shares some different things that really stuck out to me on how you can keep monetizing it. He shares how you can be your authentic you. Your brand is your brand is unique because of who you are. And he realizes that, you know, nowadays it's not just putting your resume out there. You're living and breathing your resume daily. You're having a daily build up conversation with your resume on who you are, your skills that you are able to experience, and saying, you know, everybody shares the things that you accomplish daily. I mean, this is a daily journey that you're sharing your resume, what you're doing. And it's pretty powerful that to use that as your personal brand on that and relating to it. He shares how you can how he gives different examples of the different celebrities and how that relates to your personal brand out there. Any insights on branding that you want to share? Let's see if I can find some more tips that he shares on branding, because it's pretty much basically on just lying and transparency.
Yeah, and you know, and yeah, absolutely. On the whole branding thing, it's extremely powerful. It's very, very important, and it's not what a lot of people think it is. I mean, some of the most powerful branding is you really, instead of people buy things connected to a story, connected to a person, and that's really sort of how it is. And they want to, they love to feel connection with people, and is that was it the know, like, trust factor? So they talk about, and so. And a lot of folks, when they do their business, they're always focusing on you know, anybody in the world is going to want what I have. And it's actually, oh, hang on just a second, 1 second. I have to hop off because I just think I'm here with my kids. This is me being a mompreneur. So I'll finish that in 1 sec. Hang on 1 sec.
Okay. I was going to share, you know, personal brand. A lot of people have a hard time starting off having a brand. And I think that can be confusing to some people going, I've never done this before. What is a brand and how can I do it? And I'm thinking you yourself have some qualities that a lot of other people don't have. And you got to look inside yourself going, who am I? Mm-hmm. And I was just on a branding training and one of the meetup groups. We had a little Saturday event, and she says, you know, think of 3 key words that you would use maybe as hashtags or something to describe yourself. And yeah. I'm like, just 3. And you wake up and you present yourself, how you dress, how you look, how you perceive yourself, because it's you. No one else can be you. You're a unique person. And if you always have those 3 key words in perspective, you're going to be your unique self, and you're going to stand out in your own special way of how you are unique and your authenticity. I like he uses that word a lot, and transparency of who you really are.
Yeah, and a lot of it is, it's what are your values? Like, for example, obviously one of my values is family. I'm here in a hangout and I'm helping, you know, licking a spoon and helping, and I'm making something here for my little one over here. You know, what are your values? What matters to you? What are, in your life, you know, whatever it is, you know, what are your values? What matters to you? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? What is the value, lifestyles? Like for me, example, with this, you know, I talk about, you know, I value family. I value making a difference in the world. I love things like law of attraction and abundance and all of that, and helping people to see their own true value. And I talk about that. I talk about where I come from. You know, I came on here. What did I do? I talked about, you know, I used to be an entertainment attorney. Anybody that might come from that background, or ever worked in corporate America, or ever had a job like that, you know, somebody that might be, I'm a single parent. I talk about the fact that I'm a single parent. How old are my kids, right? My brand is me. It's my life. So it's kind of like, look at yourself. Who are you, and what matters to you, and what's your values? And it's really more about your story, about what was the problem, what were you wanting to achieve with that. That's the brand. if it's if you're, especially if you're doing something kind of like what we do, but no matter what the product is, it's what is the value. But even then, you're always the brand is you. The brand is you, and what is your value and what matters to you. And when you connect with us, there's a lot of, much more higher level training that comes in with all what it is that we do on that. But that's, brand it is actually crucial. No matter what it is that you're selling, it's starting with who you are, and frankly, who you want to connect with. What matters to you? What are the things that are, do you have a passion about in your life? One person, her whole brand, she's into CrossFit. And she talks a lot about it, and she reaches to that community as well, because that's what she does and that's what she loves. I mean, it's all very, very individual.
Right. And I think as you're learning about yourself and what you love and those values who you want to reach out to, and because you're finding a passion in something, you're learning about who else there that has that same passion, who can I learn from to learn more about that. You're researching, maybe you're commenting on other blogs, you're going to be learning more about your passion. You're going to be building on your value. And I think that's how he takes it to the next level for the Crush It. You're going to be creating your own community of people that you find your passion with, and it's how you take that word of mouth out on steroids to really get the word about going, I've learned from so many different people from my passion. You should follow me because I've researched this, and this is how I look at different things that I've looked at, and build my skills up from my passion and what I love. Because if I love it, I'm going to go out there and research more about it. I'm going to find out more things about it so I can be more valuable to my audience and things like that. So I think that is a big way on showing how your brand and you're sticking out, because you've researched it. You found your own skills and your value of what you're going for. It's not like, oh yeah, I love piano, but how can I research and be the best that I know I can be and what I love, a lot of different things. All right, so the next chapter is A Whole New World. I always think of the song of that. I don't know. A Whole New World is really how you plan your future. He gives some really good questions inside of this chapter that really question how you're presenting yourself into your world and what you want to plan, look at, grow in yourself. Because it really questions, your priorities and your goals in here. So he just kind of takes it to basics and says, are you really happy with your present job, with what you're doing to create income? Are you truly happy with that? And it questions your happiness. Do you work in a company that allows you to have a public personal persona about your passion? You get to really truly be who you are. And do you love your job that much if you aren't able to do that? And he knows different industries like the financial industry or different industries that really don't allow you to do that in a way. And is that okay with you, because you really are happy in your job? Because people want to know who you are. And number 3 was, are you allowed to build and develop a personal persona during personal time? So if you aren't able to do it, with your work or job, can you keep that separate and they be okay with it? So I know maybe you've experienced some of this, Valerie. What is your insights on how he perceives, you having a personal persona, your own brand of who you are, compared to the company, maybe that your job or something that you're working with, or even a company that you represent? Can they truly allow you to have your own personal persona, keep your brand, and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, well, my goodness, it's what we do. It's all about that. It's like it's encouraged. It's like, be you, live your passion, and be you, and be the most authentic you as you possibly can be. Right? I mean, that's what I love about this. So much is that it allows people to live freedom, and like the freedompreneur, like live your life the way you want to live it. Does that mean you're traveling? Does that mean you're home? Do you want to be with your kids? What do you want to do? Some people, I have people that they love their horses. They want to play with their horses, So there's just so, they want to have the time so they can do that and live their hobbies and do these things. I mean, I know being, when I was an attorney with a job, You had to have a very specific persona. You had to dress a certain way in certain meetings, when you meet with people, et cetera, et cetera. It's a completely different thing with a job. It just is. I mean, when you have a business, it depends. I mean, if someone's watching this, certain companies, you have to do things in a certain way. And they don't even, some don't even allow you to do things online. I mean, it's amazing. But, everything has to go a particular way. But this is part of me, when I was doing my research of what I wanted to do, it was really important to me that what I was doing was going to jive with my personal values, that I was going to be able to be me, all me, whatever whatever. I love talking about law of attraction. I love talking about abundance. I love talking about all of that and encouraging people. I love, talking about, how, things that I do, being, sharing my life and what I do, and being able to run around with my kids and travel and do fun things, and, all of that stuff, and having, the freedom to be able to do that and work on my own time. It's important to be able to be in a place that allows you to do all that and create what it is that you want to do. And I think really important, just on the mindset things, we're Millionaire Mindset Hangout here, is to really maybe allow yourself, if watching this for the first time, to really dig into your why, into what's deep about what it is that you do want, so you can have that clarity and live from that experience. Maybe you're not there yet, but you can live from the experience of what it is that you want in the present tense of that, and keep speaking that vision, and then you'll connect up with us, or connect up with, where situation's going to allow you to do that, to do those sorts of things, because it's, life is so precious. And for me, it was really about, wanting to be able to live life to the fullest and being able to really make that difference. So that's, Brian, we had Brian Swan on recently. He did that. His whole thing was the perfect day exercise, right? And when you get it, that's one of those things you can, that's a powerful thing to do, is to think about what your perfect day is, to sort of guide you into that. I don't know if I'm going off topic on this right now, but
well, I think
that's what's leading me in a moment.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. There's some things, or some people have questioning about, having that as a career. And I think having a brand is definitely something that shows people what your career is. And it shows more also going, I was an attorney, and then I'm going to go build a brand. And then would I be able to ever go back to that career I had because I did this? So it does take, a lot of question going, can I really truly create a brand for myself and go back and change industries or change careers because I did something, because I wanted to be who I was? And I think a lot of people question that. What do I truly want as a career, when they're thinking of branding and thinking of branding themselves, or branding their products or company, and the way they view different things like that. So I think it is a lot of mindset and where you're coming from and what you want to do in the future, to make sure you're building your brand in the right way.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to branding, stick with authenticity of just being who you are, right? And because we're always growing, and what is of value to us today we might have different values in the future, right? Like, maybe, if I were to say, oh, I really want to travel and traveling is my thing, and after a while I say, you know what, I really want to stay in one place. I think having a solid spot would be good for me, and we'll take a month and travel here and a month and travel there, or do whatever it is, right? So it's not about, or even if, like, say, okay, I didn't want to be an attorney, but maybe in the future, I can't see that for myself at the moment, but there might be, I might want to assist somebody as an attorney in the future. Maybe I would, maybe I won't, I don't know. But at the moment, I know where I'm at. But the thing is it's all about transparency and authenticity. And if you're just transparent with yourself and the brand and what you're doing, it's okay. It's all good, because people grow and people change, and everybody's in a different place, and it opens it up. And it's not necessarily like, people can be, not necessarily have to be an attorney to be involved in my business, that have that as their past. They could be somebody that just resonates with the choice, right? And resonates with the choice to be able to live your passions. and you speak your vision and your passion and what matters to you, and just always staying with that, because life changes. You know, I mean, I've seen people in this business, they started out, they didn't have kids, and they had a very different perspective of what they wanted and what mattered to them. All of a sudden they have children and their priorities change, right? So they do things differently and they have a different way of being, or maybe their kids, you know, get older or whatever. I mean, it's okay to have change, and it's not like you, because otherwise you can get stuck in analysis paralysis, right? Well, I don't know what I wanted. I don't know, this is where I want to be 10 years from now. I don't. No, you don't, because it changes, and that's okay. That's okay, because we, you know, everything, you know, it's movement and it's growth, and we're always growing, right? So wherever you're at now and what your values are at now, how you want to live now is what matters, and you just keep that present as you grow and take people with you. And just be transparent about it. That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah, I think it's pretty powerful when you know exactly how to build a brand, then you can build multiple brands. Maybe you have a passion in, you know, CrossFit, you have a passion in abundance, you have a passion in Christianity, you have a passion in music, and you know what it takes to build a brand. You can build multiple brands. There's like Neil Patel, I can tell that he's built multiple brands with different companies and stuff, but you can really always see the Neil Patel quality stuff that he himself creates and what stands for, you know, who he is and what comes from that brand from him. And I think that's pretty powerful. I think there's a lot of authors and musicians and artists out there that can build multiple brands or maybe multiple businesses because they know their true qualities and what they can bring to each brand or each business that comes out there. I think that can be pretty powerful as well. What do you think, Valerie?
Yeah, you definitely have different multiple brands. When it comes to multiple businesses, make sure you got one running well first before you can do anything else. I mean, you know, because it can be very challenging to attempt to build multiple businesses at the same time. That can be challenging, especially if you're very new to having a business and to being an entrepreneur. It's the folks that are very seasoned entrepreneurs and they have systems in place. Honestly, they've got one, and when that's up and running, you know, can move to another. But you can definitely, especially with what we do, you can have multiple brands. You definitely have, because there's people that, you know, that experience will resonate with different things. Like, for example, I mean, I could be, you know, I'm definitely communicating to families and parents that want to have a different experience of being home with their kids. There's a whole other group that maybe they're not, and they're just definitely into law of attraction. They want to be able to speak to that. There are folks that I'm a parent of twins, multiples, and there's a whole community of that I'm, you know, beginning to reach into, because they have a completely different issues and they're going to resonate with me on my unique situation with that, right? Or like, you know, for example, you see what I'm saying? So, but it can all generate and lead even into the same business. To have multiple businesses can be challenging if you're not already fairly seasoned entrepreneur. I'm just saying, take on one thing at a time. Take on one thing at a time. This is my personal, you know, I may have different things on it, but you know, if you're brand new to doing all this stuff, you know, going off in a bunch of different directions is a lack of focus. And but, you know, and start with one brand. Just start with one, and then you can add on. You can always add on and develop, and it can grow from there. So just pick one, and the easiest one is take a look at yourself. Take a look at yourself, and you know, what are your, you know, what listen inside your heart. What jumps up? Like, what jumps up first? What's the first thing that comes to you? And then you can always expand into the other ones. You know, when you have a lot of skills and you have skill sets, and you can just kind of like go. That's my 2 cents on that.
Good tips. The next part really goes into how he builds it and building on the different content and social media and stuff platforms. So I wanted to give some insights on how he presents it and the different things that has changed since he gave some insights from here. So the first one is going into chapter 5, create great content. And he knows that people that have the value are going to know their stuff. They're going to tell a story, they're not going to lie, and they're going to choose a platform that resonates with who they are. And he describes the platform as being video, audio, or through text. And honestly, we know that we need to leverage all of those. And he goes through more of the platforms into chapter 6. So there's 2 ways to really work your content. And one is to how you lure and create, and you're going to allow people to come to you. Like Valerie loves the attraction marketing. Look at who I am. And number 2, the second way is how you go into other people's content and comment to relate to you and your brand. I know I'm pretty powerful in doing this. Probably you can see it mostly on Facebook, then some blogs. I do it on blogs as well. I want to be able to do it more on YouTube in the future. And that's how a lot of people get back their brand and things coming back to them, is how much you can get in front of other people. They're like, oh, thanks for that comment. And then they'll come and see who you are and try to create a relationship with you in a deeper way. So like on all my powerful friends, I see what's going on in their world, and I make sure I put a comment and relating to how I see it from my perspective of what they are. And then they can see different things of who I am through the comment that I share. Maybe I just share a hashtag of who I am or something, it might be just, I like that too. But they're seeing my face, my profile, over and over again, maybe on a comment. They're learning who I am. Oh, she's always present and seeing what I'm doing. And I think that's important when you're creating content and you're going after people wanting to come to you, you're taking interest in them and you're being consistent with it. So I think that was kind of how I took out with the great content. 2 ways: you're putting out content, you're sharing it out there, but you are also being interested in others and relating to similar conscience and interest in people that you are getting out there and making those comments to other people and other blogs and relative keywords that you're commenting about. Cora is real good asking those questions. And of course, he didn't even mention Cora. I don't know if Cora was back. I don't remember Cora was back there that old. If you don't know what Quora is, Quora is another platform that allows you to ask questions and blogs and stuff like that on there. All right, anything about great content on those different types of things, Valerie?
Yeah, I mean, really something that resonates with your passion. And that's where this comes in from your passion. Because if you're doing things connected from your passion, whatever you're going to communicate, whether it's on a Facebook post or in a blog post or YouTube or an email or Pinterest or Instagram or Quora, whatever it is, wherever you're communicating, the key being it's something that you love, because then it's something that you're going to want to do every day. You're going to want to talk about things that matter to you, right? Whatever it is that you're sharing on. And when it comes to like saying, connecting on other people's things and commenting, it's the idea of really giving from your heart. It's sort of like giving before you taking. Giving when you go in and you comment, give with some love, give with, some kind of, not just, hey, nice, but, some kind of a comment on it, maybe ask a question like Alicia was saying. And it all coming back to really clarity on who it is and what you are and who you are. And then it'll just come natural. It'll come naturally from you if you stay focused on that. And again, part of all of that is the more you are daily connected to a lot of the things that we talk about in terms of mindset and reading books and listening to audio and keeping yourself always in a positive place, you'll also be able to. It'll also bring in, like, you'll have things to share. Like this book, maybe there's a quote that you love from the book, and you can share the quote to the book, right? All those, you know what I mean? It's like if you're digging into the stuff that you love, and take notes. It's suggesting, take a note if something comes to you, an idea comes to you, have like a little place, a notepad with this on your phone or whatever, of ideas of things that you really resonate with, and share it. And sometimes it's just good in the moment. You get that idea and you're just like, I'm going to post this quote on Facebook. I'm going to put it on Instagram, and it goes into a bunch of different places, right? There's lots of ways of doing it, but we can teach you all that on the inside. You learn a lot of that stuff and you connect with us. But a lot of it it's really just staying connected to your own personal development. And from there, if you're here, it's obviously you're into that. Just saying. If you're here watching, chances are you're into personal development. Chances are you're into all that stuff. Just the mere fact that you're here says that about you. And it's something very special about you, because it's a powerful place. All the top successful people, this is where it comes from. So use that. Use a quote that you got, right? That you found, or something inspiring. You can even do short little videos about that, sharing that, and that becomes part of your brand. It becomes part of it. Or if all of a sudden, as you're listening to this here right now, all of a sudden you realize a thought came up about something that you really love, a hobby that you have, and you can go into that. Like, you can share stuff with that always, because when you're doing that, you're true to who you are. You're true to who you are. And it could be anything. Like, I love doing like these really crazy ice, very healthy, quote unquote, vegan ice cream stuff. And I actually did a video of us making that. Here's the kids and we're shaking it up. Okay, got to break the ice. Let's drop it. We did this whole thing on how we made it. And it was yummy green ice cream that had no dairy and no sugar in it. And they loved it, So, it's really listening to your heart and using a lot of everything and all this stuff. And that's just me and my take on that, and what you can do with some of that.
Yeah, excellent. It brought up ideas that when you go to a blog, or maybe someone shares something that you didn't know, or maybe that is your favorite, it's good to let them know that that was your favorite and repeat maybe what they said. I really like that you shared this, and maybe quote them as well. And they will appreciate, oh, glad you learned that. So what impacted you from what you just learned as well. So always learn, do, teach, I think, in the process, right?
Yeah.
The next one goes into chapter 6, the platform, video, audio, written word, but the blog is a home. And he talks about how he leveraged WordPress, Tumblr, but really how he made sure that he had call to action. He had buttons for all these share places. He told people that go share it, maybe like it, and comment on it. He gave those call to actions. He shared ping.fm, which no longer works. It's no longer out there. So instead, what we've used in the platform is I've used Hootsuite, something like that shares to multiple platforms all at once. You can kind of schedule it out. And I think that's what ping.fm does a little bit. And then I use if then that. ifttt.com, and mixing it with that and some Twitter feed, it kind of does the multiple platform sharing. And so when one piece of content goes out, you can go and share it in multiple platforms in a way that that platform accepts it, and it looks a lot better, because there's different ways inside of IFTTT that allows you to share the right image instead of just a link, or maybe you just want the link, or how you want it to look out on the Twitter and so forth, on the different platforms, of course. So that's what I'm saying. That kind of stuff has changed, but evergreen stuff that's in this book, he keeps going back to how you're unique. People can play the piano. I can play the piano all day long, but you're not Billy Joel. How do you play the piano that allows you to be unique? So as you're learning, as you're sharing this stuff, how can you really be different in a way that allows you to be you and be unique, that stands out from the other Billy Joels out there? And I think that's a challenge in each time you're learning something on how you present yourself. And this next chapter, Valerie, was my favorite. I need to get this going as before my battery runs out. All right. So this next chapter, I think, is my favorite chapter in the whole book. It's called Chapter 7, Keep It Real, Very Real. And he goes through 3 different type of keywords. And I think that really describes more of me, and I could really relate to it. So that's probably why I really love this chapter. He goes into number 1 was authenticity. He shares the 3 different ways on how you can, stand out, paying attention to your DNA kind of thing. And and how that DNA relates to your passion. So it just kind of puts the whole book together in this one chapter. I just like that. Oh, in chapter 9 too. It's really short. So I'll share that in just a second. If you know chapter 9, it's just like one word. Stay tuned. Number 7 is authenticity. So right from the intro, he shares how he just screams out his intro, and all his effort comes from the heart. So you know within 3 seconds that people will relate to you, or they'd be like, stand up, oh, I need to leave. This is not the person I want to go to. And I've realized that so much just getting on the Periscope. I was going, wow, people are hopping on in 3 seconds. They're gone if they don't relate to it, and it's not any good. And I totally relate, going, oh, I don't really want to watch your kid in the park, you know? In 3 seconds, they'll know if they can relate to your passion just with that intro and stuff on what you want to get out there in your brand. So I always think that intro is probably pretty important, because he describes on how he uses an intro and keeping authenticity. And then number 2 is hustle. And I'm trying to get some more insights on with this hustle and what he meant with that. But he meant that you're going to kind of be more consistent with it, because you're not going to plan on seeing results right away. Because if you truly have hustle, you're going to consistently put yourself out there in a way that people know that you're hustling. You know, they know that you have a heart to keep doing what you're doing. You're just not going to give up and what you're going to be doing out there. You know, you got to keep taking that pill every day. So number 3, I think probably explains who I am in a more deeper way with patience. I have probably taught more people patience than me being patient myself. There's some things I just like, oh, I can't stand. But I've brought more people patience because maybe I am a piano teacher, and I understand hearing the Jingle Bells song every Christmas with a new person learning Jingle Bells takes a little bit of patience. Or guts or something, going, Jingle Bells again. You know? No, anyways. You got to be 100% happy and love what you're doing. That keeps to who you are in the core. And you're going to do whatever it takes in the foremost expert to being a personal brand out in their field and creating that community to know that what patience it takes to be around in there. So patience builds into that community. And I know I've learned from the products inside of what we recommend that it takes a deeper level on that massive influence to create a culture. So how about your insights from that chapter 7? Those 3 powerful words: authenticity, hustle, and patience, Valerie.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, yeah, it's really like authenticity, definitely coming from your heart. That's what's really so core. It's really just being who you are, which is allowing people, you know, to see even, you know, you make, you know, goof up, make a mistake or whatever it is. It doesn't, because it helps people to see what's possible, and they sense. People just really sense when you really are real and you're coming from your heart. It just it's true, and it's the only way I want to be. And yeah, in terms of, you know, hustle and doing everything every day and just being, you know, being consistent with it. I'm gonna my lovely example that I love the best is watching a kid learn how to walk. I mean, you know, if you watch them, if you know, I know we don't remember it ourselves, but you watch a little one and they get up and they immediately fall down their little bottoms, right? And it's like if the way we worked was that if the first time we fell down, or even the second time we fell down, we said, you know, I did this a couple times and this walking thing just ain't for me. You know, it just doesn't work. You know, we'd never walk. You know, it's like it takes a little bit of time to learn anything. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. I mean, I was watching my little guys yesterday. It was amazing. I'm going to give this analogy of the story. They took swim lessons last year. They first learned how to swim a little bit across the pool, and it got a little bit cold around here, and I frankly didn't want them in the pool. It finally got warm enough that I felt comfortable. I wanted them in the pool. So we went into our pool, and just you know, last couple of days, and it was amazing to watch them. At first, when they were going to get back in, yeah, they were tentative. Is it cold? Is it not? Oh, it's okay. You know, and they put their hands on the side. I'm like, guys, you can stand up in the pool. Oh, wow, I can stand up in the pool. And then I just let them move and let them go and watch them go from tentative to putting their faces in the water to the next thing you know, they're kicking, to the next thing you know, they're going from one end of the pool to the other, relearning their skills in swimming across and pushing themselves, not even all the way across. Like they can only go a little bit, and then their feet would touch the ground, and then they jump themselves right back up and say, okay, I'm going to go a little bit further. And it may have taken them 3-4 attempts to make it across the pool. But they did it, and they were so excited because every little bit, they got a little bit more, and just 2 days in a row going in the pool. I mean, it's amazing watching what happened from them just consistently just going one step and next step. And I was watching this analogy going, this is just so freaking cool, because it's an analogy as well for what we do and everything that we do, in that, you know, celebrating even the little bit, and the next time it's a little bit more, and next time it's a little bit more. Like even when I exercised, the first time I was getting into learning push-ups, the first time I could only do barely one push-up. I couldn't even do one push-up. I was like, you know, I'm going to do one push-up. And then tomorrow I'm going to do 2. And then the next day I'm going to do 3. And by the end of 90 days, I was doing like 100 push-ups, you know, and it's the same thing with all of this, with your business, with everything, and anything that we do. Is that mindset of knowing it's okay to be only getting a little bit and learning and growing. Oh, but maybe I can adjust from this. It's that whole rocket ship to the moon thing that's adjusting 99% of the time on its way to the moon. It's in 99% of the time it's adjusting, and even if it doesn't quite work exactly the way you wanted it first, you learn and move from it, going back and forth and back and forth. And it's that process which is how anything is done. Another great example I love from this, if you've ever watched, Mom Kids, Disney movie. It's a Disney movie called Meet the Robinsons. And in there's a very powerful thing about keep moving forward. And a guy invents a time machine, and his first result is just catastrophic. And the next result is not much better. You know, house almost blows up, right? And they go through, here's item number 22, item number 107. And he gets like 1,000 tries or some crazy thing, and he finally builds a time machine. But it's the same thing, even the development of the light bulb. All of it, it's a process. You know, we had the guest Sarita was on with us as an example with her. She was amazing. Her first few months, she didn't make any money in her business. And then it started to grow and started to grow and started to grow and started to grow. She just kept moving forward, kept moving forward, kept moving forward, kept doing it and adjusting, kept moving and moving. And it just, you know, she made 6 figures in her first 12 months. I mean, it's really having that, being in it for the long run and knowing that your goals are possible. You just keep moving forward, allowing yourself, you might get a big win right away. It's possible. It really is possible. But, you know, things go like this. There's adjustments. And as you keep going, it grows. That's all of my take on all that.
Yeah, for sure. It's, you know, you got to grow in your steps there, and how you hustle,
Yeah.
and all of it, you know.
Yeah.
The last few chapters is how you're digging into your internet trench. You know, it's all about starting your conversations and starting your own community, and how you want to get them to respond to you. So he really recommends, you know, you spend your hours of researching, reaching out and commenting on many people, and create that blog post and distribute it, you know, how you're doing that. And the best marketing strategy ever is chapter 9 has one word of care. And if you don't have that in focus, and I think that is hard, everything just doesn't align. You're just doing it just to get things out there, and you're not really putting your best foot forward in that. So I like how he really has that focused in there, and you're finding ways to move forward, and all the different steps he recommends. And chapter 10 is, you know, make the world listen. How you do your step-by-step research and building your fans, and how he gives ideas on how you start monetizing it, because you're not only going to do, you know, maybe speaking engagements, maybe you'll do consulting, maybe you'll do articles, and he gives you some different ideas of different ways to really start monetizing different things like that. And then he ends with chapter 12 and 13, being able to roll with it, how you're able to adapt as you shape your story, as you are, you know, growing in this journey, and using the different trends that are out there, and keeping that legacy in focus. It all kind of comes back together. He talks about going back into the caring and authenticity and hustle and patience. That's why I really like chapter 7, because it kind of puts the whole book and everything in perspective. and finishing with, the time is now and keep your message forever. And I like how he gives you, did you forget anything? Did you identify your passion? And he gives you step-by-steps in the book of how you're answering the following question. What I am sure that my passion is what I think it is. Are you sure? Can you talk to it better than anybody else about what your passion is? And I think a lot of people need to know what your passion is. You're going to talk about it a lot. You're going to being able to share what you love out there, what you're doing all the time. And some of this stuff is old, how he goes through his step-by-step on how he's sharing it and doing it over again and again. The one thing that's not old is using search inside of the different platforms. So he suggests, search.twitter is pretty powerful to know who's talking about it live right then about your passion. And I think that's the most powerful platform to do search on. Don't go search on Google. Go talk to people that are talking about it. And they will give you, some expert advice. So they're just different platforms that gives you suggestions on how you get your word out there.
You got to go search.twitter.com, right?
Yeah, totally. And doing that. And then you're going to test your copy. You're going to test your, tons of stuff, your reaction, conversations to people, how you're doing. And he also gives you, gives different insights on just different ideas for different niches. Let's say you have a tea blog. Let's say you have a sports center. You love sports. And he gives ideas on how you would present those different niches and stuff out there. So I thought that was pretty helpful on how he gives you ideas. Even if that's your passion, maybe you might want to do something like that. And it just kind of leaves an open end on the end on different things that you can maybe. He gives an appendix, 5 business ideas I won't get into, and they're yours because that's not who he is, but maybe you have a passion about it and how you want to share that out there into the world. So I think that was really helpful to get those different insights from a red personality, from a person that's not more of who I am, and how he related to it back when he was starting them through the internet age and how it's changed now, especially through Instagram search, and how people are finding just pictures are so powerful out there with Pinterest. I think he understood that pictures were powerful when he was using Flickr. And I don't think Flickr is as powerful as it could be because Pinterest has really taken off, and Instagram, more powerful picture platforms that uses pictures to help people search for what they're talking about and their branding and things like that. So, and Pinterest and Instagram was not around when this book was out. So definitely the changes out there from the internet of the different social media platforms that he didn't experience or shared inside of this book that has changed today. So that's why I wanted to give you some insights. The search for Iconosquare and the search for Twitter. Twitter it will be around and it's one of those evergreen platforms that's just powerful itself. Even though you only can write 140 characters, hashtags are pretty powerful. So any insights on that as we finish the book, Valerie?
Yeah, just one thing, in that, I really believe that everyone has, we've come here with a unique calling. We have a unique gifts that we each have to give to the world. And so allow yourself, if you ask yourself the right questions, if you ask yourself, to look within and what it is, you'll find the answers. You will find the answers for yourself because your life knows. You just got to open up to it, and then you'll know exactly. And then you're coming from literally a very, very powerful place of what it's actual, your actual calling. We each have a unique way. Just like she was talking about the piano, 2 people can play the same song, and one is going to have their own very unique brand. And maybe you don't do it like Billy Joel, but you got your way, and your way is good.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
We all have a fantasy, and I've listened to all the different versions of people winning the awards or playing the fantasy impromptu. It's great.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and even, all of it, you see us talking about this, there's so many different ways, and everybody's going to resonate differently with different people. And there are people that are meant to resonate with you, right? And in the way you express it. And this is where, coming from a place of abundance, that is. So there's no such thing as saturation. There just isn't, because, we all have our unique thing. And if you are keyed into what is you and what is your unique expression and your unique gifts, the more you open up and allow yourself and ask yourself those questions, your answers are in there. You just got to get quiet enough to hear it. And you can hear it, and you'll feel it. You'll feel inside. It'll bubble up. You'll just know. You'll see it. You'll know. And live and speak into that. Live and speak into that, because there are people waiting to hear from you. The world is waiting for you, and you have a gift to give. You have a gift to give in your unique way. So I'm very excited to be able to be a part of that process, with you. And you want to connect with us in a lot of how we do all this, because there's so much more. We're like tip of the iceberg in all this. Definitely link below, connect in. We've got massive communities and all this other stuff that we're very happy. Anybody that brought you to this Hangout, connect. By clicking below, you'll connect to the person that brought you as well. By clicking below, you will connect to the person that brought you to this particular Hangout as well. Anything you want to add on that?
Yes, thank you for all those that shared out there. We do have a fan page.
Yeah.
Share this with everybody in our team. It's a team access Hangout. And inside, I want to thank, we got Chancellor saying he's crushing it daily. Thank you for joining us live. And Greta as well. She's with her, half a dozen kids out there in Vancouver. And okay, she had me ask me, where's my pink hat? It's in Tennessee. Didn't bring it on the plane. And I'm also not wearing my glasses. I got some new contacts, so I'm excited about that. So I'll probably look totally different today. So you're finding a new brand in me as I'm, transferring my journey here in Houston. So lots of different ways. I'm like making sure you look at me in a different way for my brand, and it can be changing. Because the pink hat can be a brand as well. Oh, I missed my pink hat as we're talking about branding. Totally. So got to know the true me, my blonde hair person, I guess. I don't know. Personality, it's all about that. And so anybody else, thank you, Nadia, for coming as well. Anybody else, just give a shout out in the comments. And we love seeing where you are and seeing your brand. And that's what it's all about, is being present and be sharing with us that you are present. You're here and you're joining us in the comments. And, even they're on, whether you find it on the YouTube channel or wherever you find it in a feed, share your presence out there. It's okay to click like, but you share so much more by clicking share and putting your comments out there. I think the most powerful one is share and then comments and then the like, of course. It's not as much. I don't know if you want to know the different platforms if you're sharing and everything. So thank you guys for coming. Click the link below to connect with the person who invited you here, and we will keep them moving. We got some powerful, more industry leaders coming out that are crushing it in the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned, and we'll see you the next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, guys.
Bye.